I thought the season 2 premiere of Tracker was dumb, but then the second episode essentially said, hold your review, because you ain't seen nothing yet. Welcome back, guys, to Fog Entertainment, and I wish I hadn't seen this. It is the review for Tracker Season 2, Episode 2. This one not only was dumb, but it was also boring, also sucked. Just everything bad about TV, you could probably just get crammed in to this episode. Was it the worst episode of Tracker so far? I think so, because previously I said that perhaps the premiere was the worst episode, and this one was certainly worse than the premiere. Even though it did get a 7.7 rating on IMDb, and there's simply only two reasons for that. Reason number one, we've seen the return of Jensen Ackles, who plays Colter's brother, Russell Shaw. And reason number two, the episode was like based on aliens and UFOs and government officials. And I think that gave it a further supernatural feel, because not only did you have Jensen Ackles returning, but then you had like an episode that was based on, you know, supernatural-esque kind of shit. So to me, that's the only reason why people are saying this was a good episode, because other than that, it was atrocious. So Colter gets hired by Patty Palmer, whose father has gone missing. She doesn't really reveal the truth of why he's went missing, but then it later turns out that he's kind of interested in aliens and UFOs, and perhaps the government might be onto him or some crap like that. So Colter then goes and investigates someone that got a restraining order against her dad. We've got some black woman by the name of Dr. Iris Blair, and apparently she was interested in aliens and UFOs as well, but she says that Scott Palmer, the missing man, he was getting too obsessed with it, and he was phoning too much, and he wanted to dig too deep, and essentially she was getting a bit scared, so she got the restraining order. Colter then goes to this base where he gets captured by a government official played by Matt Passmore. Now, this guy didn't have a name. He just went by government official, but he was like the main villain of the episode. So, as what it is, Colter then gets tied up, and he's just laying in almost like a gurney, like a hospital-style bed. No one can contact him. Thelma can't get to him. Reenie can't get to him. So they call the one man that can come in and save the day. Russell Shaw comes in, breaks his brother out. He says that he saved his ass, but then Colter comes to the conclusion, you didn't save my ass. They let me go because he believes that the government officials are letting Colter go so Colter can track down Scott Palmer, then they can get their hands on Scott Palmer. Doesn't really make much sense to me. You tell me government officials are, like, how many of them do they have? You know, this is like huge governments are unable to find one man, so they let Colter Shaw go in order so he can find the one guy. Anyway, they track his phone, they bug his phone. Ironic that the show's called Tracker, but Colter's the one that's being tracked this episode. His phone gets thrown into the woods. They then go back to Dr. Iris Blair, and they say to her, oh, look what we discovered. This is dangerous. The government officials, they captured Colter. You know, they're trying to find Scott Palmer. Maybe you know too much. You could be digging too deep. I think it's time. You probably need to get out of there. While Russell Shaw made himself a sandwich. He made himself a sandwich using sourdough bread. So I've never had sourdough bread. I don't know if it's any good or not.
I have. It's all right. It's a wee bit sour and a wee bit chewy.
Fog Entertainment co-host who wouldn't bother his ass watching this shit just chimed in there with the sour bread. Who wants a sour bread?
Sourdough, mate.
Sourdough bread review. Anyway,
no, but see from the outside in, this show should only went one season. It's simply
fucking one episode. I think
it's only went this long because it premiered during the Super Bowl.
Although what I would say is the ratings are actually held strong. The ratings are pretty much identical. The season 2 ratings are identical to season 1. Apart from the first episode, which is obviously down massively because it was after the Super Bowl.
Yeah, but the premise of this guy going around being a tracker, it works in reality TV. It doesn't work as an actual show.
Anyway, they tell Dr. Iris Blair, you should probably get out of here and lay low. Lay low, brother. So they then leave to go and find Scott Palmer. She then attempts to get out of there. She goes to call her husband, I guess, to tell him that she's leaving and that they need to escape. And then the government officials at her car window, and then he steps aside, and some guy comes, and she screams, no! So, yeah, I mean, it's kind of alluding to the fact that maybe she's been killed here. They then try and track Scott Palmer's phone. They actually find another government base where there's, like, There's like cargo trucks and tents and shit, and just like everything's set up, and they've got like a landing pad ready. And Colter and Russell decide, right, okay, let's split up. And I mean, this base has got like a shitload of officials on it. It's like GTA when CJ would try to sneak into an army base and you're like 1 on 100, yet he somehow comes out on top. That's what this felt like. So the first building that Russell Shaw goes into, he comes across the government official who has him at gunpoint and then speaks a little bit about his father. So for some reason he knows Russell's father and Colter's father, but we don't find out the reason for that. He tells Russell, if you come one step closer, I'm going to pull this gun. I'm going to pull this trigger and kill it. Russell comes one step closer and just takes the gun off him, disarms him, and you're like, alright, well... No, see when the main character's at gunpoint against a top government official, and he just, like, literally walks up to him and slaps him in the face and disarms him, you're like, what the fuck? There's no jeopardy in here. And that was the first building that Russell went into, and in the first building Colter went into, he finds Scott Palmer, the guy that they're looking for, and it's like, are you shitting me? So the government officials can't find this guy, and he's actually hiding out in their base, trying to find out what's happening with the UFO, and Colter just walks into the first building, and the first person he finds is this guy, yet the government officials have been tracking this guy down for weeks, and they can't find him, even though he's on their base. That would be like you trying to find somebody, and they're living in your house, and you've been searching for them for weeks, and they're in your house, and you don't know. And then the postman comes to deliver mail, and he finds the guy that you're looking for sitting in your house. It just makes no fucking sense. So then Colter regroups with Russell, and they just take this guy. Scott's like, "Oh no, I need to see the UFO. It's landing tonight." And we see a big light flash up in the sky. And it's like, "I've got to see this. I need proof." And Colter's like, "No, you need to come with me, or they're going to kill you." So they just walk off the base. Honestly, right, you see them running for the bushes, and then there's like this helicopter that shines a spotlight on them, and it says, "Stop right now, or we'll shoot." And then they don't stop, and the helicopter doesn't shoot, and then they run to the bushes, and then it just transitions into daylight. And that's it. So as soon as they got to the bushes, this top government official site just didn't even bother giving chase. Like, what the fuck? And then Colter gets a phone call that Dr. Iris Blair has been killed, and they don't even really seem to care. And then they just take Scott Palmer back to his home, and he's reunited with his daughter, Patty, and they're like, you're going to be okay. They're not after you now, they've moved on. The research is done there. They've moved on to a different location, you're going to be fine, they're not going to be bothered. They killed the other person. So why the fuck? And she had nothing to do with it. She was distancing herself from it. So why wouldn't they be after the guy that actually sneaked onto their base and felt like he knew some top secret shit that was going down? You know, absolute dumb, man. Fucking brain dead levels of TV here. And then Russell drives Colter back to his car, and he's got like an Impala or something like that. Looks like the car he had in Supernatural. And then that's pretty much it. He says, well, since I saved your ass, I've got a date with Reenie. And he drives off, and that was pretty much the end of the episode. I don't believe it. They just take Scott back to his home, and instead of, you need to lay low, brother, or you need to pack a bag and get out of here, they're just like, nah, they won't be after you, they've moved on. But they murdered that other woman in daylight in the middle of the street. And she didn't even do nothing. She distanced herself from the cause. She was like, oh no, that Scott guy, he's getting too deep, I'm not going to answer his phone calls, I'm getting a restraining order. Yeah, this Scott guy who's actually on the base, witnessing this supposed UFO fly-in, this alien fly-in, oh, they ain't interested in him. They're interested in the woman that doesn't know shit. The woman that was like, not wanting it. It just doesn't make any fucking sense. It was really dumb. Honestly, I can't believe how bad this was. And we had some fan driver just randomly appear in the middle of nowhere to pick up Colter and Russell with some English accent. It's like, what the hell? Yeah, this episode absolutely sucked, man. So dumb. I know people are going to like it because Jensen Ackles was in it. Oh, and there was talks of UFOs, but honestly, man, this was really, really bad. And to me, the UFO stuff just made it worse. I mean, the only thing worse than bad acting and bad storylines and just dumb shit in general is, I think, when you add aliens and UFOs to the mix, because no one's buying that shit. Anyway, I gave the premiere a 4. At least the premiere added a new element. It gave you like a new reoccurring story, or at least it feels like it did. Whether they pick up on it again, I don't know, but at least it started with something different. This was just, your run-of-the-mill tracker episode. Oh, he takes a case, he goes to the client, find my missing blah, blah, blah. I mean, the only difference is here, Colter didn't really take down the bad guy, who are the government officials in this case. I guess they're going to live to fight another day, but yeah, just, the fact that they just take this guy home, and he's got the same address that these government officials knew he had, same name, same identity, and they're like, you're going to be okay, they're not interested in you anymore. But yet they murdered the other person in cold blood in the middle of the street in daylight. Makes no sense. I'm giving this episode, I'll give it a 3 out of 10, and that's been very fucking generous actually, because I mean the chemistry between Russell and Colter's pretty good. I like Jensen Ackles, but the episode sucked, man. That's what it is, guys. It was like Daryl Dixon levels of shite, and that's when you know you've got a bad episode. Anyway, that's it. Till next time, let me know your thoughts down below, and peace.